It was a sunny morning when I finally moved into my new house, eager to start a new chapter in my life. The neighborhood was quaint and charming, with rows of well-kept homes and friendly-looking neighbors. As I was unpacking the last of my belongings, I noticed a beautiful woman next door tending to her garden. She glanced up and our eyes met, and I felt an instant connection. Her name was Sophia, and she was my new neighbor. We struck up a conversation, and I learned that she was a widow living alone. There was a certain sadness in her eyes, but also a warmth and kindness that drew me to her. Over the next few weeks, we started spending more time together, talking for hours and finding common interests. One day, as I was tending to my own garden, Sophia came over and asked if I needed any help. I happily accepted, and we worked side by side, our hands occasionally brushing against each other. The tension between us was palpable, and I found myself stealing glances at her, captivated by her beauty and grace. As the days turned into weeks, our interactions became more frequent and intimate. Sophia would often find excuses to come over, whether it was to borrow a cup of sugar or to admire my handiwork in the garden. I could sense that she was becoming increasingly attached to me, and I found myself reciprocating her feelings. One evening, as we were sipping wine on my porch, Sophia leaned in and kissed me. I was caught off guard, but the feeling of her lips against mine was electrifying. We gave in to our desires, and that night, we made love with a passion and intensity one had never experienced before. In the aftermath, we lay tangled in each other's arms, both of us a little breathless and a lot confused. We knew that what we had done was wrong, that it could complicate our lives and our budding relationship. But the connection we felt was undeniable, and neither of us could bring ourselves to regret it. From that moment on, our relationship deepened. We would steal moments together whenever we could, meeting in secret and cherishing every second we had. Sophia was a passionate and attentive lover, and I found myself falling deeper in love with her with each passing day. However, the guilt and the fear of being caught weighed heavily on us. We knew that our affair could not last forever, and that one day we would have to face the consequences of our actions. The thought of losing Sophia terrified me, and I found myself becoming increasingly possessive and protective of her. Sophia, too, was struggling with the emotional toll of our relationship. She had never intended to fall in love again, but something about me had awakened a part of her that she thought was long dead. She was torn between her growing feelings for me and the knowledge that our love could never be truly free. One day, as we were walking through the park, Sophia broke down in tears. She confessed that she couldn't keep living this way, that the constant fear of being discovered was eating her alive. I held her close, my heart breaking at the sight of her pain, and I promised her that we would find a way to make this work. We began to explore the possibility of leaving our lives behind and starting anew somewhere else, where no one would know us, and we could be together without the constant threat of judgment. It was a risky and uncertain plan, but the thought of being with Sophia forever was too tempting to ignore. As we prepared to make our escape, the tension in the neighborhood began to build. Neighbors started to whisper and cast suspicious glances in our direction, and I could feel the walls closing in around us. Sophia became increasingly paranoid, convinced that we were being watched and that our secret would soon be exposed. Finally, the day of our planned departure arrived, and we made our way to the train station, our hearts pounding with a mixture of excitement and fear. But just as we were about to board the train, we were confronted by a group of our neighbors, who had somehow discovered the truth about our relationship. In the chaos that followed, Sophia and I were forced to make a decision, to run and risk everything, or to stay and face the consequences. We looked into each other's eyes, silently weighing our options, and in the end, we chose to stand our ground. What followed was a tumultuous and emotional confrontation as we tried to defend our love and our right to be together. It was a battle that tested the very depths of our commitment to each other, and in the end, It was a battle that we were determined to win. In the aftermath, the neighborhood was left reeling, and Sophia and I found ourselves at a crossroads. We knew that our lives would never be the same, that the scandal and the fallout would follow us wherever we went. But even so, we were determined to forge a new path, one that would allow us to love each other freely and without fear. As we stood together, hand in hand, gazing out at the uncertain future that lay ahead, we knew that the road ahead would be difficult, but we were ready to face it together. For in the end, our love was the only thing that mattered, and we were willing to fight for it, no matter the cost. Sophia and I knew that we could no longer stay in our small town after the scandal that had rocked our neighborhood. The only option was to leave it all behind and start fresh somewhere new. And so, we set our sights on the vibrant city of Berlin, eager to escape the judgmental eyes of our former neighbors and build a life where we could love each other freely. The move was exhilarating and terrifying all at once. As we boarded the plane and said goodbye to our old lives, there was a sense of both excitement and trepidation. What would our new life in Berlin hold? Would we be able to leave the past behind and truly start anew? When we arrived in the bustling city, the energy was palpable. The streets were alive with the sound of laughter, music, and the chatter of people from all walks of life. Sophia and I were immediately captivated, and we couldn't wait to immerse ourselves in the culture and nightlife that Berlin had to offer. We found a cozy little apartment in the heart of the city, and as we unpacked our belongings, we felt a sense of relief wash over us. Here, we could be who we truly were, without the burden of societal expectations or judgment. It was liberating, and we couldn't wait to explore all that Berlin had to offer. And explore we did. Every weekend, we found ourselves venturing out into the city, seeking out the hottest clubs and most exclusive parties. The thrill of the unknown, the intoxicating beat of the music, and the feeling of being truly free. It was all-consuming. At first, we were content to simply dance the night away, losing ourselves in the rhythm and the energy of the crowd. But as time went on, our taste became more adventurous. We began to experiment with new experiences, exploring the world of swinging and indulging in the occasional hit of ecstasy. It was a whirlwind of hedonism and self-discovery, and we found ourselves becoming more and more immersed in the underground club scene. We made new friends, people who shared our desires and our hunger for excitement, and together, we pushed the boundaries of what we thought possible. The weekends became a blur of pulsing music, tangled limbs, and the intoxicating scent of sweat and desire. We danced until our bodies ached, and then we found solace in the arms of strangers, reveling in the thrill of the unknown. It was a far cry from the quiet, respectable lives we had left behind, but in a way, it felt like a necessary release. We were shedding the shackles of our past, embracing the freedom and the chaos that Berlin had to offer. And yet, even as we reveled in our newfound lifestyle, there was a part of us that longed for something more. The constant pursuit of pleasure and excitement was thrilling, but also left us feeling hollow, like we were missing a deeper connection. One night, as we were wandering the streets, Sophia turned to me and said, "Do you ever feel like we're just chasing a high that we can never really reach?" I nodded, understanding exactly what she meant. "Yeah, I do, but I don't know how to stop it. It's like we're addicted to the rush." Sophia sighed and reached for my hand. "I love you, you know that, but I feel like we're losing ourselves in all of this. We need to find a way to recapture that connection we had before." Her words struck a chord deep within me, and I knew she was right. We had come to Berlin in search of a fresh start, but in the process, we had become consumed by the hedonistic lifestyle that the city offered. It was time to take a step back and rediscover the core of our relationship. And so, we made a pact to slow down, to reconnect with each other and with the city that had welcomed us. We began to seek out quieter, more intimate experiences, exploring the city's rich cultural heritage and finding solace in the simple pleasures of life. It wasn't easy, And there were times when the pull of the clubs and the temptation of the underground scene threatened to drag us back in. But we were determined to break free, to reclaim the love and the connection that had brought us here in the first place. Slowly but surely, we began to rebuild our lives, finding joy in the small moments and rediscovering the depth of our relationship. We still indulged in the occasional night out, but we did so with a newfound sense of balance and purpose. And as we walked the streets of Berlin, hand in hand, we knew that we had found our true home. This city, with all its complexities and contradictions, had become a part of us, and we were grateful for the opportunity to start anew, to create a life that was truly our own.